Here's the quick and dirty of it. Got a call this afternoon around 5 from my contractor that the bottom of our driveway was too muddy and that our trucks weren't going to be able to get up here tomorrow. He said, can you come up? So we have a Wednesday night service. We had some of our other leaders that were able to cover for me, so I went there, dropped my son off, and came up here. Had to take the snowblower off, got the snowblower off, couldn't broke a bracket on the snowblower, taking the snowblower off that I'm going to have to weld back on. Then had to get the loader on, and that was fine, but I couldn't get a couple of hydraulic hoses, so I had to look up on a YouTube. One of the pressure in the hose was too tight, and so I had to take something and kind of pound on that to get the hydraulic hose off. Now what I'm trying to do with the bucket is back blade this lower part of our driveway. Now, this part of the driveway is actually owned by the town, and we have a right of way. So we didn't put this space in. Ours kind of starts about 500, what we put in, but we're going to have to do something in the spring. But what I'm trying to do tonight is get it to a place where we have enough to be able for our HVAC guys who are working tomorrow to be able to get up here, and they have vans. They don't have four-wheel drive. So let me see if I can show you this on film, what the approach I've got here. So I've already done a couple of runs. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see how deep the ruts are over here on the left, but what I've done is I've gone down to the bottom and I just put the bucket down, and then I go straight back and basically like back blade with the bucket to try to get these, try to just pull this material and flatten it out so we can get these ruts out, and we'll see if it works. I find that if I hold the bucket that way, I can see how much material I'm pulling. I'm gonna put this one in low because I'm getting a bunch here. Probably a little more than I want, but you can see what the issue is there. We got all that moisture that has been there. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Not the greatest video. Alright, so yeah, I know this is loud and the conditions are not here. My hands are completely covered in hydraulic fluid, messing around with those hoses, trying to get them on, and before I figured out how to release that pressure. But what I found in this is I've got to go just straight back. I can't try and zigzag it off. If I do any kind of turning, what's going to happen is I'm going to make the tire tracks that aren't going to get filled in. So even now I'm doing just a little bit of adjustment, and that might be something that I need to go back over. But I'm also pulling a pretty good amount of material up, where my tire chains are really coming in handy, giving me some significant traction through this slop. So that's thankful to have those. Gotta go up. Get stuck, then I just feather it up just a little bit, kind of, so we end up feathering this out. Material as we get up here sort of works its way out as you get past the incline part of this. So we got kind of a big slurry, and I don't know how well this is going to show up for you, but when I do a single pass, it looks pretty decent in terms of smoothing it out, but then you got to drive back through. So I think the key to this for tonight is just trying my best to get a good bit of material kind of pulled up, kind of cleared off of this, and hopefully we can get it well enough for the guys to be able to get up tomorrow. As you saw there, we traded out the Kubota and the bucket for the skid steer, driven by the professional. The Kubota, driven by the amateur. the skid steer by the professional. But in addition to that, we were able to get a lot of this top material scraped off, and we were able to get this base layer put down on here. So we had, when this was brought in, and we were kind of trying to fix a little bit of a problem with some ruts that we had earlier. And so we brought some material in. Wasn't the ideal time of year. We still had some frost in it, but we got it down, and then that material ended up getting sloppy itself, and so that had to be taken off. Our excavator operator was able to get a hold of the town, and he was willing to, do the work. And they were willing to provide some of this material, this stone, to get it down here. But let me show you a couple other things that needed to happen. So along the side, one of the issues that we were having is we didn't have anywhere for the water to go, and the way that the driveway had been kind of previously constructed, it didn't have a channel, and it probably never had as much use as we were putting on it. So that was kind of part of the issue there, but you can see all of that material that we ended up taking off here. And we have a little bit of the same issue up by the house. That same material that we put down here, we also put up by the house. We had to delay the work up by the house because the well drilling took longer to get done, and we needed to dig the trench in order to connect the well to the house, and we didn't want to have to dig that up and redo it afterward. So then there seemed like there opened a window up. It's been a weird winter in terms of temperature, but there was some frost that was still in the ground. So after the winter time, we've got a little bit of work up there to get things cleaned up. The temperatures have dropped down into freezing, and so that helps, makes it easier as things freeze up. It's a lot easier to do it. And my friend Dave took the snowblower piece that it was unable to, the subframe, where the subframe connects, that part broke off, and he was able to unbolt that and take it to a friend's shop who has a welder. He's going to weld that for me. So really appreciate him helping with that, and thankful that we don't have real significant snow right now where I would need it to be able to blow. So it was kind of a valuable lesson for me in doing that work. First time trying it, doing it at night when I couldn't see really well, and it was a real mess. What I ended up doing is when I pulled it back up, I just basically moved the mess around. I ended up coming back early the next morning. I only had about 30-40 minutes. Tried to scrape off as much as I could. Maybe of the pile that's over there, I scraped off, I don't know, maybe 10% of what he ended up actually taking off with it. So my wife said, I'm sorry you did all that work for nothing. And I was like, well, one of the things that doing work like that does is makes you appreciate how good a professional is and understand the value that they have in it. So we got access to the site. People can get up now, and we're on the path towards good things. But these are some of the situations that you deal with, and it's you don't hit it perfect every time, but you just got to keep on going. All right, thanks for following along, and I appreciate it. If you hit that like button and leave a comment, those things are all super helpful. Watching is really helpful. That means a lot to me. All right.